everybody. Welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron and our special segment. We're having a talk with the Supervisor of Elections, Miss Carol Dunaway. How's it going, Miss Dunaway?
It's going great. It's getting really busy around here, but I love it.
Outstanding. Yeah. So, as everyone knows, Miss Dunaway stepped into the position. She won this past 2020 and during the 2020 election, and she has hit the ground running. It's been a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes. We had a great cosmetic change inside and outside of the supervisor election building. And just to backtrack, to give everybody a just understanding of how great of a job you did as citizens by electing and appointing Ms. Dunaway as Jackson County's new supervisor of election. She serves with just an illustrious career, graduated Troy University with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice, and then got her master's degree in Human Services from Capella University. She served over 20 years of experience with both Department of Children and Families and the 14th Judicial Circuit, where she's made a lot of development, oversaw budget, recruited volunteers and staff. I mean, it almost like she was built and made for this position that she's in. Ready, come in, I mean, hitting the ground. So without me pumping you up, Ms. Dunaway, please let us know a lot of the changes that you've made thus far.
Gosh, well, Byron, you hit upon something. I spent 20 years with the court system, and I do believe every experience that I had there at the court system built the foundation that I have that allowed me to come into this role. Because I've pulled upon that experience so many times over the last year and a half, and I can't believe it's been a year and a half since I took office.
Yeah.
So very briefly, we've certainly made some cosmetic changes inside. We've painted almost the entire building. We've added some security features, security cameras. We've added keyless entry to many of our secure areas throughout the building. Our server room, records room, tabulation room, equipment room, just so that it's a lot easier to get in and out of during an election season, and we're not using keys, and that slows us down. We're going to be really busy during election season, so we wanted to have ease of access. We added an ADA front door, which was that was probably one of the very first things that I did, and that was through the CARES grant. Anything that I've added security-wise, the cameras, the access door, that was through security grants through the state of Florida. So, and we just recently got another one that I am working on finishing out our cameras for the entire building and some other things. But so we've upgraded our technology, we've upgraded our security, we've put some paint on things and made things prettier. And, we'll continue to do that as the funds are available. We want to make this a very user-friendly experience for the voters of Jackson County. We want to make it nice for them.
That's outstanding. I mean, so much has been talked about in the national media and state media as well about, the election process, making sure that it's fair. And I'm a strong belief that if we handle things at the local and state level, we won't have to worry about that. And I will say, you're creating not just a new and a very structured and strong points that you're making, a methodical operations that you're making. You're also creating a very, what I like is very good, strong continuity of operations. That's something those of us in the military that we thrive upon because we hate coming in positions and there's no continuity. You basically starting from scratch. And you have to reestablish relationships. You have to reestablish policies and procedures. And so, for just a quick second, can you talk about what are the changes? So, and inform the people about the vote by mail process. What are the changes that are happening with it, and how can our people, i.e., the people of Jackson County, be secure in knowing that the supervisor election is making sure things are going as straightforward and as great as possible?
Sure. I am completely about transparency in what I say and what I do. I invite anyone, any voter to come down, and I'll give them a tour of our building and show them each of the processes that we do. You know, you've been here, we've gone through, there's been several people that have come through lately that I've given a tour and show them every room and what we do in those rooms and how we're trying to make it as transparent as we possibly can, still keeping in mind the security protocols that we have to keep in place. You ask about vote by mail. So last year there was a change in the law. It was Senate Bill 90. And that law changed to require the voter now to have on file in their voter record the last four of their social security number or their Florida driver's license number or Florida ID number. They don't have to have both, but one or the other needs to be on file if they potentially in the future could request a vote by mail ballot. We have to have a way of identifying who we are speaking with over the phone. And so the state of Florida and the legislature made that decision that those were the two identifying pieces of information that we could rely upon. So when this bill changed, we sent over 2,000 pieces of mail out to voters who we knew didn't have that information on file. And we received a good response, not a fantastic one, but a good response. And we've recently, I think probably a week ago, sent out about 650, maybe 700 cards, trying to follow up on that process, make sure everybody's ready to go before the election process. Because there may be voters that say, I vote in person. I vote early, I vote in person. I'm never going to vote by mail. That's fine until you need to vote by mail. Something comes up, maybe you have an unexpected illness and you have to be in the hospital and you didn't get a chance to early vote and you need that vote by mail ballot, or you have to go out of state for something to care for a relative, what have you. So if you have that information on file, we're able to process that vote by mail request over the phone. So that's important. Also, if you want to make a name or party change, we have found that you can do that online instead of by paper if the state is able to verify that information. If you have your driver's license number or the last four of your social, we have found that folks are able to do that online instead of doing it on paper and sending in a new voter registration form. That's important. Also, what changed about vote by mail is that you may have a request on file right now to get vote by mail ballots. You should know that that request is only good until the end of this year, until after the general election. After this general election, if you still want to vote by mail, you will have to re-up that vote by mail request, meaning calling, if we have your information on file, or you can go online and do it online.
So but, please, say that one more time for a lot of those that
sure.
might have missed.
If you have a vote by mail request on file with our office, that's only going to carry you through the end of this election cycle. So after the election, the general election in November, if you want to vote by mail again in 2024, or for the city elections that may potentially come up in your city in 2023, you'll need to you'll need to place a new request for vote by mail. That was a law that was changed last year. If you're not sure if you have a vote by mail request on file, all it takes is a phone call, and we can at least verify over the phone if you have a vote by mail request on your record. And if you don't, and if you've got your identifying information, we can fix that for you. If you don't have your identifying information, we're going to have to go another route.
So that yes, ma'am. That law that's not for clarity, that's not Carol Dunaway's law.
No.
That's actually, what is it? Is Florida Senate Bill 90. 90, that's it. Yep,
Senate Bill 90. It was signed into law May 6th of 2021.
Okay. So Florida Senate, that's as a result of Florida Senate Bill 90, everyone. If you are not, if you are currently, because a lot of the elders, I know my dad, he's vote by mail. A lot of you that do not know, you after this election cycle, you will have to resubmit a new request for vote by mail. Let's making sure that's out there, because a lot of people will be deer in the headlights the next election comes around. Also, since we've had a big redistricting going on, just to make sure those that may have been affected, i.e. you are in a different district as a result of the new district line changes, that new cards will be going out as well, correct?
Sure. So I'll address that real quick on the redistricting. So if you're not familiar with the term, you will be soon enough. But the county, all counties are required to look at their numbers after a census, which we know is every 10 years. Counties are to look at their numbers and decide, do they need to go through the redistricting process and equal things out? Jackson County went through the redistricting process this year. It should be noted that there's been no change in numbers in some 30 plus years. So it was a process that needed to happen. So the county went through the process, the county commissioners, and also the school board. And they worked diligently. There were several meetings that were open to the public to talk about potential maps, some things that they worked through on the maps. And ultimately, each of them, each entity, the school board and the county commission, decided on maps for themselves. They do not match. Our old map was one map, 5 districts. We have now 2 maps, one for school board and one for county commission. And there are some very big differences and some very slight differences throughout the county. So what our role is as supervisor of elections is, once those entities decided what map they wanted and they were approved by whomever needed to approve them, the state, the school board entity, then we took those maps and we hired a consultant to what we call, I've learned some new terms through this process. They geotag every single voter in our county, and whether they're active or inactive. And so they build what's called a dictionary, which is, it places all those voters in their proper districts, school board and county commission. And then that's sent to us and we import it into our database. And we have to go through and work out some kinks, whether a street is spelled correctly or not. So we're in the process of doing that as we speak. Our hope is that we are complete with that process by June 1st through June 15th is our window. And by June 15th, we hope we're mailing out voter cards to every single voter here in Jackson County. And on that voter information card, you'll find what school board district you're in and what county commission district you're in, as well as other state representatives and so forth. And also, if your polling location has changed, that may be a possibility. We just don't have those answers until the map is built and everyone is geocoded. It can't get here soon enough, Byron.
I know.
It hurts me because I can't provide our candidates with a list of voters that are in their district. And so I was on the phone this morning working with our local GIS coordinator and the consultant to make sure they were on the same page. So it is something we work on almost every single day in hopes that we're able to get this done by June 1st.
Yeah, and that's a lot of work. If people don't know, that's a lot of work. You got to think about how many people we have in Jackson County, how many registered voters we have in Jackson County. And another thing too to take into account is a lot of updating with a lot of active voters, inactive voters, etc. So I can imagine the headache that you're dealing with, but you it's definitely something you can handle. I know it's easier said than done. But tell us about the website. I mean, I know you've had changes. You revamped the poll working training. Have you actually had a candidate university program, which is cool.
Yeah, we did have a candidate university earlier this year, and it was very well attended, and it's suited for the candidates to talk about the rules that they have to follow. We even had the Department of Transportation, Mr. Robbie Collins, come over and talk to them about signage, because that's a big thing with candidates, is making sure They put their signs in the right spot so they don't lose them. But we had a candidate university at the beginning of the year. We've certainly had candidates that have come in after that. So I've shared the PowerPoint with them and we have one-on-one sit downs with them. Candidate University was new and different. If I go to the website, there is near the top of the website is a yellow bar that has our daily numbers, and they're updated every 24 hours showing the number of active registered voters that we have. Today, as of May 16th, not sure when this will air, but May 16th, you can see the numbers. We have a total of 28,263 registered voters, and that's active voters. That doesn't include inactive voters. I think when we add that total, there's going to be about 30,000.
Okay.
So that'll be about 30,000 voter information cards that will be going out in June. And it's just, it's a big undertaking. I will not sugarcoat that, along with everything else that we're doing. And when I say everything else, one of the things, I'll give a shout out to my staff on this because they've been so diligent in doing what we call list maintenance, and that is updating our voter rolls. We want to make sure that the information we have on those voter rolls is as accurate as possible. And that means working those lists diligently. There gets to a point where we have to stop. When it gets so close to an election, we can't do any more list maintenance. The state prohibits us from doing that. But we've done quite a bit here in this last year. And I'm hoping that with all of that work they did, that we'll see a very small percentages of those voter information cards coming back to us for bad addresses, or, you know, people have moved on, but they've been working it very hard.
Great. So, one last thing, we do have an election, some elections coming up this year. How can people, if they want to see about the candidates, and how can they navigate to see that information on the website?
Certainly, it's real easy from our website. If you go to the website, there are big blue buttons right below the banner that have things such as register to vote, vote by mail, where to vote, find my record. There's one for candidates. If you are able to click on candidates, one of those blue buttons, it'll bring up another list. And if you want to see the actual candidates that are running, you can hit candidates and races. It's the second one down, candidates and races, right under upcoming elections. That candidates and races will show you everyone that has filed their paperwork to run. Okay. So qualifying actually is not until the week of June 13th. It runs June 13th at noon to June 17th at noon. Today, May 16th, was the deadline to qualify by petition, meaning gathering those signatures on the petitions. So today was that deadline, but that doesn't mean there might still be folks out there considering to run, but have chosen that they're just going to pay the filing fee to run. So we can't even really know what the ballot will look like until qualifying is over. So it's important. I want to talk to you a little bit about the primary election, because I know sometimes primaries, you know, people kind of discount them. They say, I'm just going to wait till the general, you know, but this primary could be very, very important in that, number one, with school board races, those are nonpartisan. So everyone in that district gets to vote. If you have just two candidates, it could be decided in the primary. There's just two candidates. But if you have three, and right now we do have a race where there are three candidates in a school board race, unless the winner isn't a clear winner above 50%, then there could be a runoff in the general election. But again, it's nonpartisan, so everyone in that district, in that school board district, does get to vote. County commission race. We have what's called a closed primary. We're a closed primary state. So that means in the primary, it's typical Republican and Democrats, the major parties, vote on who they're going to send to the general election. What happens in a primary if the candidates are all of one political party? What happens is that, and they're not going to, and the winner will not face anyone in the general. That means there's not a write-in candidate that has qualified. then that race could potentially be decided in the primary.
primary.
And no matter your party affiliation, you get to vote.
Oh,
That's key. That's key. A lot of people think that, okay, for instance, all county commission races right now only have candidates with the Republican political affiliation. So some folks that are other party affiliations may feel like they don't get to vote because they don't have a candidate that represents them, but that's not the case. If you only have one party affiliation and they're not going to face a candidate in the general election, then you get to vote.
Oh, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, I would be happy to come back after qualifying. So we see what our races look like, so I can legitimately say what kind of primary it's going to be. If it's called universal primary, if the candidates are only of one political party. Yeah,
let's do that. Let's follow up after the qualifying date, which is June 13th, correct?
Well, it runs through June 17th at noon.
Oh, June 17th.
So maybe that next week after we've had everyone qualify, then I can come back on and tell you what our ballot's going to look like.
Okay, great. So real quick, shameless plug, where people can get in contact with you, Facebook, any social media, websites and everything. So how people can get more of the supervisor election and how they can get all the information.
Certainly. We have a Twitter account, Vote Jackson FL. That's our Twitter. And we also have a Facebook account. That's Jackson County Supervisor of Elections. Our website, which I feel like is super user-friendly, and we try to put as much information as we can out there. And that's votejacksonfl.gov, votejacksonfl.gov. If they want to email me a question, it's just carol@votejacksonfl.gov. And our phone number, 850-482-9652. All
right. Thank you so much, Ms. Dunaway, for coming and speaking with us. And we're definitely going to bring you back after that qualifying period so we know exactly who's running. And for all the information, make sure you go to the social media handles, give her a call. And you and that great staff, I just want to say kudos to them because you've definitely been putting in a lot of work. And great job well done. So thank you for showing up.
Do you mind if I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
It's real important about vote by mail and our website. You can track your ballot. You can go on to, as I mentioned, those blue buttons at the top of the screen. I'm trying to get back to it now. So where it says vote by mail, it's the second button over. You can actually put in your information and find out, has my ballot been mailed to me yet? And if you've sent it back, you can track it to see if we've received it back and also when it was counted. So because there is a barcode on the envelope that goes specifically to the voter, and it's not on the ballot, it's on the envelope. And so you can track your ballot to show where it's at in the process through our website. So I just want everyone to know that. And if you have trouble finding something on our website, call us. We can walk you through it and help you find it because I like it to be user-friendly. So I made it user-friendly for me, and hopefully the citizens find it as user-friendly as I have found it.
Outstanding. All right. Thank you again for coming on Bottom Line with Roni and Byron, and we definitely will have you back. Thank you.
Well, the time has come for the third annual Two-Egg Emancipation Day Festival. The Great American Parade will be held Saturday, June the 11th, and the Great American Cook-Off will be held Sunday, June 12th, at the Farms at Two-Egg, located on 4382 Wintergreen Road, Greenwood, Florida. For more information, call us at 850-693-7059. This event is sponsored by the Jackson County Tourist Development Council, the Jackson County Students Working Against Tobacco, and Two-Egg TV.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on today's show. Myself and Zach Gilmore attended the Florida Economic Development Council's annual meeting and conference in St. Petersburg earlier this week. FEDC is the professional development organization for economic developers around the state of Florida. We participated in sessions focused on developing a state-level talent attraction campaign, as well as leveraging federal and state funding for priority projects. During the Innovation in Marketing Awards Luncheon, our friends at Opportunity Florida were recognized and received a Marketing and PR Award for their recent video titled Opportunity is Here. The video features several shots provided by Jackson EDC, as well as footage from Megan Bassford with Main Street Mariana. As the conference progressed, we spent time with our partners from around Northwest Florida, participating in an interactive session on how we define success as a region and what barriers we face when competing for workforce. It was of no surprise to our group that affordable housing was the number one answer. A couple of really educational breakout groups with Duke Energy and Florida Power and Light introduced us to tools that are available at no cost to Jackson County, such as site readiness and in-plan data. It is always a pleasure to work with the economic development teams at both Duke and FPL. They go above and beyond to make sure that we have the latest and greatest tools to do our job. We also participated in a breakout with the Able Trust. The Able Trust is a leader in providing opportunities for successful employment for Floridians with disabilities. As we know in Jackson County, citizens with disabilities are an untapped resource for employers. This continues to be an area of focus when addressing workforce shortages, and we are already seeing success with the recent graduates from Next Step at Endeavor Academy. The evening ended with a dinner and update from Acting Secretary of Commerce Mark Adler, as well as the team from Enterprise Florida. It was a great event full of education and networking, but we are both glad to be back home in Jackson County.